Welcome to the podcast, Let the Prophet Speak. Today we continue our study of the Sefer Mishlei, the book of Proverbs. We are in the middle of chapter 3, about to begin verse 19. In the first half of chapter 3, the teacher was extolling to the student, to his disciple, all of the wonderful virtues of following the path of wisdom, following the path of truth, following the path of kindness, chesed, ve'emes, following the path of chachma, all of which are one and the same. And we ended by saying how it gives us long life, it gives us a life of meaning, a life of peace, a life of shalom. Eitz chaim hi lemachazikim ba, v'somcheha me'ushar. It gives us success, it gives us happiness, and one is able to feel good about what he does and about how he or she chose to live his life. Now in verse 19, he begins to tell us that this path, which is the path of Chachma, and I want to point out here the importance of equating, that the Proverbs is teaching us the equation of Chachma, wisdom, to the path of Chesed, the path of kindness, which is the same as the path of Emes, truth, which is the same as the path of God, Eitz chaim hi lemachazikim ba, which is the same as the path of Torah. Wisdom does not contradict. Understanding and learning and knowing about the world around us is not a contradiction with living a life on the path of God. It is a fulfillment of it. It is one and the same. This is one of the primary lessons of Mishlei that we have to keep in mind and understand. Truth, which is assessed by understanding honestly and knowing without injecting our own biases, understanding the things that are around us. That is emes, that is truth. And that leads to chesed, that leads to kindness, that leads to humility, the kind of yiras Hashem that we've been talking about, which leads to chachma, which leads to wisdom. And this is what the Proverbs is talking about. Because in verse 19, Adonai b'chachma yosad eretz. The world, land, the earth was created by God with chachma, with wisdom. There is wisdom within the earth around us. Look around you, learn it, understand it. Konein shamayim, he established the heavens bitfuna, with understanding. There are rules that govern nature around us. Look at the world, learn them, understand them, and realize them and recognize them. Bidato tehomos nivko, it is with his knowledge, the laws of physics and chemistry and biology and so on, through his knowledge, tehomos nivkohu, he has broken up the depths of the seas, divided them into segments, ushichakim yirafutal, and the heavens give dew and moisture because of with the wisdom that God manifested in the universe around us. Beni, my son, al yoluzu me'einecha, do not take your eyes off of this. Do not forget this. Do not forget that it is wisdom that will lead you on the proper path. Nitzor tushia, in this way you will guard, you will maintain, you will keep tushia. And if you remember, I discussed the difficulty in translating the word tushia back in chapter 2, verse 7. It's a verse that pops up often in this book and other wisdom literature in the Bible. Tushia, I translated it as success. Umezima, and mezima means a thought process, but specifically the thought process of discretion or foresight. Right? Mezima is making plans or seeing through things and understanding what the ultimate outcome is. So foresight is probably the best. So by remembering that the world around us was built on wisdom, was built on science, right? Remembering that and understanding that will enable you to maintain success and maintain mezima, foresight. You'll be able to see and understand and contemplate the ultimate potential consequences of your actions. V'yu chaim l'nafshecha, this will be like life to your soul. This will enable you to make it through. V'chein l'gargosecha, and it will be like chein, like grace to your neck. Remember, this is a reference back to verse 3 in this same chapter, which we learned in the last podcast, to wear wisdom around your neck like a necklace, like a decoration. Az telech levetach darkecha, verse 23. If you do this, if you remember this, then you will go with security on your way. You will always know as you go down your way that you will be secure in your path and your choices in life. Viraglecha lo tigof, and you won't hurt your foot. You won't stub your toe, so to speak, on that path that you take. You will always be confident in the path that you choose. Im tishkav, when you lie down, lo tifchad, you will not be afraid. V'shachavta, you will lie, v'arvash nasecha, and your sleep will be sweet. Al tira mi pachad pisom. We always say, choose a job, choose a vocation in life, so that when you rest at night, you rest knowing that I did something good today. I did the right thing. You may not have made $1 million. You may not have gotten been on front page news or had a viral TikTok video, but you can put your head on your pillow knowing that you lived today a good day. You lived righteously. You lived properly. You made the right choices. You can live with yourself. You can sleep. V'arvash nasecha, your sleep will be sweet. Verse 25. Al tiromi pachat pisom. Do not be afraid of sudden fear, of sudden disasters. They may come, but do not be afraid. You will know how to encounter them. When we show us Risham, and from the disasters that are meted out by evil people, kisavo, when they come, don't be afraid of them. They will happen. Evil people will perpetrate evil. They will perpetrate suffering. But don't be afraid. You'll make it through. Why? Ki Adonai yeh b'kislecha, because God will be He in whom you have confidence. This is a little bit of a challenge translating the word kislecha here. But it's generally, understood to mean, as we see in other places, that it means that which you have faith in. Something like the Mitzudos here translates as inyan bitachon v'tikva. God will be the one in whom you have faith, you have trust, right? Because you're choosing the path of chachma v'shomar raglecha milached. He will keep your feet from getting trapped, from getting ensnared in the evil of the evil people's ways. Al timna tov mi ba'alav. And then he goes on a path immediately from this exhortation, from this asking us, begging us to stay on the path no matter what evil might befall us. He tells us, people might be tempted sometimes, to be stingy, to hold, if you want to be safe, then hold things to yourself. Don't give it to others. Al timna tov mi ba'alav. But he tells us, don't hold back good from those that deserve it. In other words, if you owe someone a favor, you owe someone something, you owe them money for something that they did for you, you made a commitment to do something for them, don't hold it back. When you have the ability to do it. If you can't, if you don't have the availability, you don't have the resources, that's one thing. But if you have the resources, don't hoard them. Don't hold them back to yourself. Be generous. Give them to others. Al tomar l'reacha lech v'shuv machar. Never say to your friend, never say to your fellow, go and come back tomorrow. Umachar etain, I'll pay you tomorrow. Never say that. V'yeshitach, in a time when you have it. If you have, if you have the money in your checking account, write him the check. Pay him. He did the work. He deserves the pay. Never delay thinking, well, I'll hold on to the money tonight because... No, never, ever, ever do that. Al tacharosh al re'echa ra. Never plan and devise. Tacharosh is from a language of secrets, of making plans against your friend, evil things. V'hu yoshev levetach itach. When he is residing trustfully with you. Never, never double cross someone who you have earned his trust. He trusts you. Always be faithful with him. Never take advantage of that trust to take advantage of him. Verse 30, Al Tariv im Adam Chinam, don't to make fights with people for nothing. Right? If somebody, obviously we said before, there are evil people who might be devising evil against you. Those are fights you didn't choose. Of course, you have to, defend yourself against such fights, right? But never ever pick a fight with somebody for no reason. Imlogim al chara, right? When he has done no harm to you. If he comes to you and does harm, you have to deal with it. But if someone never does harm, don't just pick fights for nothing. And one might think, well, those guys that are picking fights for nothing, they're gaining all this money, they're gaining all this wealth. Al tikanei bi'ish chamas. Do not be jealous of a person who is a man of chamas. Now, chamas means someone who forces others to give him money. So, in other words, it's not necessarily outright stealing, but a person who games the system, who takes advantage because of his power, because of his might, often because of his wealth and his influence. He uses the system in order to take advantage of others in an aggressive way. That is an ish chamas. Do not be jealous of him. V'al tivchar b'chol derachav, and do not choose his path. Don't think, well, he's being successful, I want to go down that same path. Why? Verse 32, Ki to'avas Adonai nolos. A person who has abandoned God, nolos, is the one who has abandoned, who has turned away from the path. If you remember back in just a few verses ago in 21, we said, if I quote again, Al yoluzu me'enecha, do not lose sight. Don't take your eyes off of chachma, of wisdom, right? So over here we're talking about nolos, he who has taken his eyes off. That is someone who is abomination to God. That is the true to'avas Hashem. That is truly the one who is a to'eva, is someone who has taken his eyes off of God, off of wisdom, off of chesed, off of emes, off of kindness, off of truth. V'yesi shorim sodo, right? But the one who are within his secret, the one who are in his secret club, those are the ones who stay on the straight path. Me'erat Adonai beveis rasha, the curse of God is in the house of the evil person. Unevei tzadikim yivarech, but the place where tzadikim, where righteous people reside, there God gives his blessing. Imlaleitzim hu yalitz, with those who are cynical, with those who scoff, with those who make fun, with those who don't take things seriously, God doesn't take them seriously either. God is cynical with them. Vila anovim, but to those who are humble, to those who are lowly, to those who are at the bottom rungs, Yitein Chain, God gives grace to them. Kavod Chachamim Yinchalu, the Chachamim, the wise people. Remember, God, the Mishlei here is equating all of these things. Chachamim, wisdom, with someone who is humble, with someone who is emes, truthful, with someone who is honest with his friend, who doesn't pick fights, with someone who is faithful and pays others, whether it's money or favors or kindness, right? When they deserve it, doesn't withhold it to himself, doesn't hoard it to himself. Someone who is emes, who's truthful. All of these things, that is all chachma. That is the path of chachma that Mishlei is talking about here. What do they inherit? What do they inherit? Not a giant estate or a huge yacht or a multi-billion-dollar corporation. What they inherit is kavod. They inherit honor, uchsilim. But fools, which is equated with the rasha, the one who is not generous with others, the one who is an ish chamas, who takes advantage of others, who uses his power to enrich himself to the detriment of others. That is a ksil, that is a fool. Meirim kolon, they raise up disgrace. What they have, what do they achieve? They achieve disgrace. They achieve shame. They achieve kolon is humiliation. that concludes chapter 3 of the book of Proverbs. Thank you so much for studying chapter 3 together with me. Looking forward, of course, to studying chapter 4 and, of course, the rest of this incredibly beautiful book of Proverbs. I wish everyone a wonderful, wonderful day.